We're getting the first images from the North Korean nuclear site. Will Ripley, our correspondent, was there to witness the destruction of that nuclear site. He's once again joining us on the phone. So, Will, walk us through what you actually saw. We'll show our viewers these new images we're just getting in.
Hey, Wolf, yeah, we're on our way to send in our own video. These images are from North Korean state media just out this morning. And you can, first of all, the deputy director of North Korea's Nuclear Weapons Institute, who gave us all a briefing once we arrived at the Punggye-ri nuclear site. He showed us a map of the site, 4 different tunnels. One of the tunnels they was closed several years ago, but what we witnessed was the destruction of the remaining 3 tunnels, including one tunnel. I think you're about to see, it was used to conduct 5 North Korean nuclear tests out of the that they've conducted since 2006, including that nuclear test last September that triggered a 6.3 magnitude earthquake. They opened up the doors. They let us look inside. The tunnels were rigged with explosives as far back as we could see. Then we were basically taken up to 2 different observation posts, actually a total of 3 observation posts that were built specifically for us. We had to hike up the side of the ravine of Punggye-ri to witness basically North Koreans blow up the tunnels. Now, they said the explosions were back very deep, making the tunnels permanently unusable. We didn't have any nuclear weapons experts in our group. There were only journalists, so we can't really verify how significant these explosions were. But we did see the entrances to the tunnels completely blocked off. We also saw probably around 9 buildings on site also blown up completely with explosives. These buildings used to house the control centers, the barracks for the officers who are on site. I mean, just being there, being the first national journalist allowed to actually go to Punggye-ri, a place that we've reported about so many times, was truly just an extraordinary thing. But as to the substance of what we saw and how significant the steps were towards denuclearization, that's just something that we as journalists are unable to confirm or verify.
Will, what was the explanation that the North Korean officials gave you when you were there at that nuclear site for why they had decided to blow up those tunnels?
Well, they said that this was they said they were being transparent. They said that this was a proof that the North Koreans are committed to denuclearization. They said it was a gesture of good faith ahead of the summit in Singapore. That was going to be on June 12th with President Trump. And when we were on the ground for the entire 9 hours at Punggye-ri, we were all kind of operating under the assumption that that summit was still a go. And the North Koreans, there was a sense of sadness amongst the officials working at Punggye-ri that all of their work over more than a decade was being blown up. But at the same time, that was the directive that came down from the leader, Kim Jong-un, that they needed to demolish this site, that they need to focus all of their efforts on the economy. And so at that point, they were feeling that even though they were destroying this nuclear facility, that it was going to lead to something better for their country. Obviously, these new developments really changed the game, and there's a lot of different feelings on the ground here now, a lot more anger towards the United States.
And so we're just waiting for official North Korean response now, right? It's just getting daylight over there.
That's right. So it's about 20 past 7 a.m. here in Wonsan. It's a city on North Korea's east coast. This is where we have a hotel with a press center established. We don't have any internet on our phones. We had no internet access on the train. But we are probably another 15 minutes or so in the hotel. The first thing we're going to do is send in the video and also seek to get some sort of official response. But again, because of the gravity of the situation, none of the officials who are traveling with us are authorized to speak on behalf of the North Korean government. There's going to have to be a statement coming from a much higher level. But the impression that I get is that it's not going to be good, Wolf.
We're going to watch it very, very closely. Has there been any explanation at all why the North Korean advance team didn't show up in Singapore in recent days? The U.S. sent a team over there to prepare for the summit on June 12th. The U.S. now says the North Koreans were never there. Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, former CIA director, he had gone to Pyongyang twice, met with Kim Jong-un. In recent days, his phone calls to his contacts in North Korea were not being returned. Any explanation at all you're getting from the North Koreans?
Well, I think what we've seen is the situation in terms of the relations between the United States and North Korea really has gone downhill ever since Secretary Pompeo's visit, where they seem to be all smiles. Apparently, he had a great meeting with the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un. Both the first time, but particularly the second time, they have started to develop a rapport. President Trump had stated as much. But what the North Koreans have really been angry about are a couple of things. One, the joint military exercises happening in South Korea, these aerial bombing drills, which have just wrapped up. U.S. said their defense of North Korea said they're a dress rehearsal for an invasion. But even bigger than that has been the rhetoric. First, starting with President Trump's national security advisor, John Bolton, comparing North Korea to Libya, and then those comments made by Vice President Mike Pence, also mentioning North Korea in comparison to Libya. Of course, Muammar Gaddafi gave up his nuclear weapons in Libya, and a few years later, he was dead. He was overthrown by U.S.-backed forces. So any mention of Libya in the same sense as North Korea is absolutely infuriating to the government here, which is why they felt they needed to respond, they say, with that strongly worded statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that has now enraged the United States and caused a complete breakdown of the situation. I mean, this is more than a minor blip. This is a very significant, not even a roadblock. I mean, this is a non-starter. Things have now potentially gone back to square one. Now, we don't know how the North Koreans are going to respond, if they're going to try to leverage something diplomatically, but again, my sense is that it's going to be a much stronger response and a very angry response from the North Koreans.